fear of rejection has maybe shaped how we show up in relationships, right? Fear of failure has shaped how we chase after success. Fear of vulnerability has shaped how we hide behind dominance. And from locker rooms to boardrooms, I think most men, we've learned how to speak the dialect, if you will, of defense before we ever learn the language of depth. And we call this ambition. But often it's just trauma of wanting to be enough that's translated now into motion. It's the quiet boy, for example, who grew up without safety, learning to armor himself up with achievements. It's the teenager who is humiliated for crying, who now maybe feels powerful only when he's feared. Or maybe it's the man who confuses silence with stoicism because he's never had his pain met with compassion, instead only correction. We don't like to admit that fear is our foundation, but I think you can see it everywhere. In the manosphere, in the influencers who promise the alpha male status as a cure for humiliation, in the father who hides behind respect because love feels too intimate. See, fear isn't an emotion anymore, it's an economy, and too many of us are still paying the tax, right? And here's maybe what the architecture of this fear looks like. Fear was built, this empire was built by convincing us that safety only comes from control, and that if we dominate, we won't be dismissed, and that if we stay hard, we won't be hurt, that if we never depend, then we'll never be disappointed. But every time that we buy that lie, we become smaller men in bigger armor. And we trade relational depth for relational dominance, and we call this protection. And we mistake distance for dignity, and we defend the walls that are actually keeping us lonely.